How you doing, everyone? Sir Hacks-a-Lot here. Here it is. We're going to go through, we're going to clean up these sharp edges on the frets. I'm going to put some of this oil on the fretboard. I have some tape here. Tape off on the side of the threads. Some steel wool to polish these threads. These frets are barely even used, by the way. This guitar is from 8/25/2009. It's a First Act MG394. So let's take off this strap and proceed to unstring this son of a gun. Because I'm stupid and you know what? I got an easier way to do this. I got my eye protection on. You got yours? My eye! Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, it's ruined. All right, that's done. Kind of like that Band-Aid, right? You tear that Band-Aid off and it's all over but the crying. Wah, wah, wah. A lot of people out here crying about a lot of things. Not too many people doing anything about it. So anyways, this guitar is doing this to give away to a child who may be interested in learning guitar. I'm 50 years old and I just started learning how to play this thing. And I doubt I'll ever be good at it, but you know what? There's no time like the present. I can play a few songs, not very well, but in time. If I can inspire a child who is interested in this instrument, just by giving them one to practice. You got YouTube now, all these resources. There's really no excuse why anybody shouldn't be pursuing their dreams. I'm an idiot. If I can make this thing make the right noises, I'm pretty sure a child can. Anyways, all right, we got these strings off. I got to get this. So this is called the, I used to think it was called the bridge, but instead it's called the saddle. And it's way, way, way too high. So I got to reduce the height of this saddle. Now I know how high I gotta go, but I gotta go get the sandpaper so that I can sand it down. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna throw away this, get the sandpaper for that. Then I'll get a wet rag, a dry rag. All right, I'll be right back. Now I'm back. There's a rag. You know, this sandpaper seemed to be more elusive than the gold bars in Fort Knox. Here we go. First, get this dust off. A whole lot of dust on this thing. There's a minor scratch right here. Not a big deal. Everything looks pretty. Chrome back here is relatively nice. Chrome up here is relatively nice. Before we put strings on it, we'll give everything a good solid polish. Right now, let's focus on getting this saddle down the sides. Now, I don't know how else everybody else has done this. I just watched a few YouTube videos and learned that this is how I do it. Take this piece of sandpaper and you just keep and you keep rubbing it back and forth on the sandpaper. And it slowly takes this saddle down. Now I want to put it in there and make sure I'm confident I didn't remove too much. It's barely a About a 16th of an inch I've taken off there. I gotta go quite a bit more. So as I sit here, scratching like a DJ, wiki wiki wah, wiki wah, wiki 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 wah, wiki wah, wiki 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 wah. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a white boy, and well, that's probably offensive to the entire community of people. That was probably the worst cultural appropriation you'll ever see. It's going to be a little worse unless I have dreads. Oh man, I'm probably going to heck for all this. Anyways, here I am scratching up my saddle. Scratching up my saddle, you know. Gotta get that old saddle nice and short. Too tall of a saddle, have your fingers working. When the string is way up here, you gotta work way harder to push it down. So lower the saddle to get the strings closer to the frets, so we don't have to push like a maniac to get the tones right. Not to mention when it's that high and you gotta push, your fingers get next to other string. There's a whole host of issues. So anyways, back to the saddle. Back in the saddle again. All right, we got to keep going some more, I can tell. So here I am. Want to make sure I don't turn this into a scratch so fast. I turn this into a blazing saddle. If you like that one, I got plenty more. Stick around, like, subscribe. This guitar is going to be given to a subscriber. Probably on, I'm thinking Memorial Day. You know, I just started this channel. Maybe I should keep this giveaway going as long as I possibly can, drag it out. But right now I think there's only 4, maybe 9 of you subscribers. And, well, it's not fair to the rest of the world. Well, let's give that a check. Is it fair to the rest of the world? Yes, because you know what? I should be rewarding you guys for getting in here early. That's what I should be doing. You just got here and I should be rewarding you. But the business of the deal says I need subscribers to go live. Boy, oh boy, do I want to go live! No, more importantly too, I can't make any money doing this unless I get a bunch more subscribers. I can't monetize the account. Now, I know money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a boat. Boat won't make me happy. No, maybe a little man in a boat. You know. Toss that in the garbage. Let's grab our straight edge. I don't know if this one's long enough. You see, you get into the nut there. We're still way high. I don't need a straight edge to see that. I can look at it with my eyeball and I can see I'm still, you know, I'm higher than Keith Richards, 1994. Maybe 1964, I don't know. Well, that guy say he was pretty high. The stakes are high and so am I! Oh yeah, so I bet you didn't sign on to watching me scratch away at the saddle. You know, this is of all the boring YouTube videos you could have picked. Scratching away at the saddle. Scratching the saddle again. I'm back! You signed on for horrible singing, you're going to get some of that too. Alright. Still don't think that's close. If I remember correctly, I got to be down to this, almost down to the edge. Something's holding up on that other side. Come on out, I say. What's holding you up? Oh, we got a burr. Wasn't so white, maybe it would be an amber. Okay. Alright. Well, that's about as low as the high E string can go. I might have overdone it there. That low E string can drop some more though. So now, because the high E, if you look at this thing, it's lower over here than it is up here. This is the low E, high E. Because this side is still a little high. That side's just about right. In fact, I may have overdone it. This side's still a little high, so what I'm going to do is hold this side like this, and still scratching flat. I'm going to take more off of that side without pushing on the other side so it stays straight. We don't want to create a belly here, the old a squared, b squared, c squared thing. So what we want to do is we just want to take this taper that's now like this, and we want to back it off a little bit over the whole length, not removing any here, and progressively removing more to here. Anybody else looking at this thing may think I have a bit of a problem. Anyways, it's a kid's guitar, so we'll keep it safe for the streets here. All right. I tell you, that don't look horrible. Doesn't look horrible. Because my tool here won't get into the nut. Did that nut even pop out of there? That nut's just well attached. Guitar maintenance, you got advertisements. Go figure. REO. All right, so these are the D'Addario, I think it's extra lights. I'll even tell you exactly what these are, I'm sorry. These are D'Addario phosphor bronze extra light gauge, 010s through 047s. Anybody curious? Very fat one first. Low E is it? This one. This one here. Take this. Yeah. There's 1,000,001 people telling me, you're doing it wrong, oh no, you're doing it wrong, buddy. You gotta have a gauge, you gotta have this, you gotta measure that, you gotta do all this. And I'll tell you what I got it. I got to get it close. And already I can see we are way high still. Even once I pull this tight, it's only going to drop it down here. So the back of the saddle, back in the saddle again. You know what? Let me bring you right in here. Let me bring you right in here so you can see. Let me put this saddle down. Oh! Ooh, see it has a little belly. Okay. Now, I'm going to come around to the other side here. All right, you see that saddle? See that? Watch this. I got a little belly in it now. You see how I can... rock it back and forth. I got to get rid of that. And I got to drop that low side way down. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. So here we go. I'm moving on. Oh, good thing there's no strings in the way. A big fat hand. A big fat hand. Oh, man. All right. Back to sand. Oh, the sands of time. The sands of time. The time you spend singing. And I'm going to rotate this little thing in an effort to get fresh abrasion so I'm not running this thing over a dull spot. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure the belly is... I gotta figure out how to get rid of that belly on this piece of sand. So. Create a belly on the sandpaper. Yeah, I know, you're telling me I got that file right over there. I'm going to take this file and run the saddle across that, because that is definitely flat. You know, that's a great idea. Thanks for mentioning it. You know, if it wasn't for you guys out there, I don't know what I'd be doing. But I can see now, on this straight edge, I don't know if you can see that from over there, but there is still a belly here. So let me file away. I know some of you office managers are out there saying, I've filed many things in my lifetime, but I ain't never filed nothing like that. Now that's because we're not in Kansas no more. Now, if you want to go back to Kansas, you can go back to Kansas and you can file plenty of things. It's still high on the low east side. I can see it with my eyeballs because of the way it is. This is turning into a daunting task. I know what you're saying. The bridge is lifted, the guitar is lifted, and I'll be honest with you. This across maybe has, I might be able to fit a 20,000th shim under each side. This bridge is not pulled, it's not lifted. I don't think it's pushed down in the front. It's not pushed down in the front. This guitar is in really good shape. I know it's a first act, and you're all saying, it's a first act. Well, shouldn't your first guitar be first act? It kind of harkens back to the first act in life, I guess. I'm sure somebody's going to appreciate it. And who knows? Maybe we'll get the next John Mayer, the next Waylon Jennings, the next Billy Strings, the next, you know, who was that girl, that incredible songwriter? Oh, what a hotshot songwriter she was. And boy, oh boy, was she beautiful. Linda Perry. Maybe we get the next Linda Perry out of this. So if we don't get like the next, what was the one that went down to the plane? Alright, let's take a peek at that. That looks like I took quite a bit off of it. Down and oh, look at that. You can't see what I see, but that looks good there. So we are going to stop right there. I am confident that at the very least, or at the very most at this point, excuse me, I may have taken a pinch two off the high E side. Now that I've said that, I may not have, but I will tell you, if I did, you take business cards, cut little shims and put them under here until you adjust it up high enough if you take too much off. They will eventually squish, but business cards are usually pretty durable cardstock there, so it doesn't squish. Alright, let's look at this nut, take this file. First thing I don't like the sharp edges on this nut right here in the corners. So I take, first thing we're going to do, peel off a nice piece of tape, protect the fretboard that hasn't been oiled yet. Now I haven't oiled the fretboard just because I want this tape to be able to stick. Now I'm going to take off the corners of this nut. So that at the very least looks aesthetically pleasing, but when you got horrible eyeballs, aesthetically pleasing is a different story. We're going to lose the 125s and put on the 250s. Oh God, this thing's horrible! Oh, it's horrible. Right. So we're sanding up this nut a little. The nut. Just a little bit. Give it a little contour. You know. So that it doesn't cause any uncomfortable feeling. I know some of you luthiers are out there saying, "Oh God, buddy, that ain't how you do it. You're ruining this poor guitar." Now, when you give away a guitar to a child, you can show me how it's done. Until then, this is how I do it. And it's kind of like a lot of things in life. Not everybody does things the same way. Now, the intonation on the strings is from the bottom here. From the very bottom of the groove where the string sits in. So I'm going to take this front corner and just soften it a little tiny bit. Just take the very, very hard edge off. Just a little bit. Not much. Back when I was in the old tool and die industry, sharp edges were the enemy. So, I'm just taking a little bit of that and applying it in this situation. Got very fine filed. There. Now, that's the nut. Feels good, looks good, there's no sharp edges on it anymore. And because I'm cheap, I'm going to take the piece of tape off. And come over to this first fret. Tape it down, like that. Come around the neck a little bit. You notice, but there's a method to my madness. If I do this enough to cheap guitars, eventually I'll be good at it. And I can buy an expensive guitar that needs work. And I will trust myself to be able to repair it properly. Now, here we go. See how I've got the neck is protected, the fret is exposed. Taking my little file here, just getting rid of that sharp edge. Down the edge here, it's just sharp. I don't like it. Take that sharp edge off. Both sides. Both sides. You hear it? You can hear it. Funny, before I started playing guitar, I never would have heard these differences. But as I come across here, I can hear when the file bites and when it stops biting, so that I know when the high spots are gone. This is pretty interesting. Once that's filed, I take my steel wool, come across the fret like this. And lo and behold, I'll be darned if that isn't one polished fret. Polished and hard edge. Take a piece of tape off, flip it over because I use a side of it I haven't used yet. Stick it down. Here. This one has worn through the edges, so you can slide it just a little bit. Stick it down. Again, I told you I'm cheap. And well, Sir hacks a lot. Doesn't exactly have a real job where he earns a lot of money. So, tape is expensive. And again, I can't believe they sell these things. It's almost dangerous. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Scrub, polish, 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 polish. There's a difference between polish and Polish. Here's a good joke for you. Well, it's a good joke for some of us. Because I'm Irish, I'm not Polish. Something to do with Shinola. But I'm Irish, so the standing joke should be, how do you polish a guitar, or how do you set up a guitar while you're drunk? Now, sorry to disappoint, but I don't drink that much anymore. Now, had this been 20 years ago, yes. Oh yeah, I drank 20. Lots. Drank as much as possible. In fact, because of this weird brain in my head, I, for some reason, probably found it competition and had become the biggest drunk of all. Now that I'm 50, well, it ain't such a thing. I'm not in competition with anybody but myself. Just to try to make a few bucks. They say if I can inspire some people, well, I'll be honest with you. So what they say is, those who are best served by God are those who best serve their fellow men and who exemplify in their own lives the compassion of the eternal. Now, I don't know if I've heard been known as a compassionate person. In fact, I'm pretty sure in my younger years I was considered a jerk, maybe even an ASSHOLE. But as I age, empathy ensues, and you know, I got these squirrels and chipmunks and birds out here. I feed them nuts because it makes me feel better to see them happy with full bellies. Pray for them at night and hope that they have a warm evening's sleep. And that God provides for them mercy as well as sustenance. 20 years ago, I never would have thought of these things. Never in a million years would I have thought of it. I don't think 20 years ago I wouldn't have thought of praying. But, you know, I put some thought into it. Since there's potential we may be living in the Matrix, well, don't you think it's prudent to know a few cheat codes? And if you didn't know, listen, I'm no professional, so just a casual observer, but I think magic is a cheat code. What is it a cheat code to? Who knows? It's a cheat code to the world, my friends. What is God? God is the computer that we live in. If you want to have your mind blown, go take a watch at Rick and Morty's. There's a couple episodes that are pretty profound. The Battery. World within a world one is pretty cool. But anything with unity. You know, there was the one with unity where Comes down and Summer says, "This guy had free will before." And she's like, "Yeah, he was molesting children." You know, sometimes a belief in a higher power means more than just believing, especially because the placebo effect is something like 27%. I mean, if you can believe your way into being healthier through a fake pill, don't you think you can believe your way through life? And how is that even possible? It's because we live in the Matrix. It's a crazy, crazy thing. But that's where we're at, friends. That's where we're at. As I polish this fret, normally I'd have music on, but YouTube doesn't want me to put music on because of the copyright rule. There's one that's a little high there. Give it a little more oomph in my goomph. A little more oomph in my goomph. Now, let's see if... No, I guess not. Thought I felt it. That's okay. Well, again, normally I'd have music playing in the background, but YouTube's got that copyright deal going, so I wish I knew how to do editing, cause I play you a little musical montage and fast forward this. But I'm not very proficient in YouTubing. I just want you people to see that I am doing things that you can do also with very little training, a little bit of effort, and your head out of whatever it may be in. Alright. Wonka, 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 wonka. Oh, I'm halfway done. And then I'm gonna shut off the camera. I'll turn it back on when I get down here. And I'll show you the rest. This is a lot of work, as you can tell. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 done. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to go. So it appears I'm a third of the way done, or more importantly, it looks like about 35%. So it being 35%, I'm not going to labor you with this. I'm going to save my camera time, my batteries, and we'll get you coming back in a moment. Alright, here we are back again. Got my moist rag because I don't know if you've ever worked with steel wool before, but there's now a light coating of metal dust everywhere, as well as this saddle dust. So let's wipe this all off with this moist rag. It's just water. Touch off the paper there too. Got this garbage to throw away. I don't want to touch that steel wool anymore because it's now shedding its dandruff. But what I will do is finish wiping down this table with this wet rag. I'll wipe down this guitar with this wet rag. I would say it's a damp rag, not wet. You get what I'm saying. Just get all the dust off of here, all the dust out of here, so I'm not inhaling all that white dust or that steel wool dust. Scrub out this fretboard. Alright. Hey, you know what? Got a lot of stuff inside here too. I'm gonna go in here and clean this thing out. Clean it over real good. this rag. I just put that rag inside there. I'm gonna let the rag do a little bit of the talking. Oh yeah. Washing out the inside of this guitar with that rag. I think that's good. Alright, let me go get a dry rag now, because you can see this thing's a little damp. Now we got the dry rag. Dry rag, get you all wiped off. All this dusty dust gone. All right. Oh, that's so much better already. These are the cheapest frets I think I've ever felt it. You know, it's not chiseling away at my fingers anymore. So now we got DeAndre, or whatever this is. Lemon oil. Cleaner and conditioner. Removes dirt, grease, and wax buildup. Conditions to resist dryness. It is made in the USA. Directions. Apply D'Andrea. They're not a sponsor. I'm allowed to mess up their name, I suppose. Lemon oil to your instrument sparingly. Rub gently with D'Andrea cloth to a clean, dry luster. Do not allow excess oil to accumulate on surface. Repeat as necessary. For ingredient information, please visit our website. Well, when I get thirsty, I'll be sure to visit their website. It says lemon oil. Looks like foil. What do you think it smells like? Let's put this with the rest of the trash. Would you believe me if I told you I had no order? Alright. Here we go. Let's take the dry rag, which is now going to be the oily rag. Put a little bit of lemon oil on here. And oh, wow, look at that. Now, I know that this fretboard was very dry. So I'm just going to keep going up and down this thing, wiping it in. I'm guessing those may have been the original strings from 2009. Here, look at the way it's sucking it up in places here. And we're just going to keep wiping it in. That's a very thirsty fretboard. Get some down here on the bridge. This is the bridge. I know the other thing is the saddle. But I know, well, I don't know anything. I just learned to play guitar now. Something down here is called the bridge. Now, let that soak in. I know this thing is a matte finish, but I'll give it a little oil everywhere, just in case. Oil down here, oil here, oil on that side. Some oil in this hole and flat top. Some minor little nicks and dings here and there. But all in all, this thing is absolutely great. You know, not so bad. I may even put a signature inside this thing. You know, because my ego and all. Let's do this front and top. You can, I don't know if you can see, but there's very little oil coming off this rag right now. Just enough to get a light coating, just to wake up that color a little bit. You might liken this to a Derek Bierry's shine juice for a guitar. Call this guitar shine juice. I love that guy. Vice Grip Garage. If you're ever looking for stuff to do, looking for a little inspiration on a rig you got sitting in the garage maybe, or maybe you're getting your midlife crisis and you're thinking, what can I do? Well, if you're a gearhead, you buy a car that barely runs halfway across the country, you fix it up and you drive it home. At least that's what he used to do. I'll be honest with you. Looks pretty darn fun. Looks fun to me, and I keep pulling this thing in my lap, and I know that you guys are over here. Now, the back. Now, my rag done gone dry. Wetting up the rag a little more. More of that lemon oil, as they call it. It wakes this thing right up. Look at how pretty that is. Woo, baby. I know it's got a finish on here already, so all I'm doing is getting a little bit of life back in that finish. A little bit of life. That's all. Let's see. Now, I'm gonna have to get some life back in that neck. That neck is so dry. Oh, look at it. Still sucking up the oil. Oh, we got a little stuck underneath there. Ha, baby. Get up here. Where's the oil part? Let's get up here. A little ding over here by the high E nut, tuna. Give these a little hand polish. Oh, hand polish. Oh, baby. Hand polish. Hand polish on these tuning posts. Already really clean. Again, this guitar was like brand new when I got it. And if it wasn't a children's guitar, I wouldn't be giving it away, but I'll be honest with you. God has blessed me in so many ways. I gotta return the favor somehow, and I think like just to some kid, that might help. Might help a all right. Back of this neck. I might run the steel wool down the back of this neck outside. There's a little ding there. Nothing major, but... Oh, sugar shake. Well, that's what happens. See, you just witnessed the whole thing go down right there. I guess the top of this table needs to be done. Well, in case you didn't know, this table apparently is very old too. That's one piece of wood all the way across the top there. And that's what you get for leaving your lemon oil empty. Well, you wanted reality. Here's reality. The reality is when you're a doofus, things like this happen. So, I might as well get this whole table oil. Might as well oil up the whole darn thing, right? Get for being a doofus, you know. This is why I call myself Sir Hacks-a-Lot. You see me hacking my way through, doing the best I can, hacking my way through life. So I'll go through that away, put the guitar back. Moving on. That's the garbage. And we're moving on. Again, this neck is very thirsty. Thirsty neck, thirsty neck, thirsty neck. Now we're just going to keep wiping this neck in for a little while. Because this thing is really thirsty. Now there is a fret down here. It seems to be collecting some juice, or collecting some debris. Okay. I think we're almost ready to start stringing it. I think we're almost ready to start stringing it. Putting some thought into the signature on the inside. Do I want it to face this thing? Or do I want to sign it so whoever wins this thing can remember where they got it from? Let them know that it was tuned up by me. By me! I think I will. Because I am arrogant. Super duper arrogant. Let's go inside here. Sign it right up here where you can barely see it. So that way, nobody pays attention. Ha! Nobody will ever see it. Hey, way up in there. Nobody will ever see it, but I'll know it's there. Alright, that satisfies my ego. The little guy inside. Now, what I'm going to end up doing is putting all these strings back on just to find out that saddle is still too high. Let's see if that fretboard soaks up. It is. That's thirsty fretboard, man. Very thirsty. Okay. Let's start with that low string again. You say goodbye, I say put on the low, put on the low. I don't know why you put on the high, I put on the low. Nothing more to sing here, guys. Just a guy trying to get by. I like to do it this way. Put these underneath there. So that when it comes around, it pushes down on it and kinks it. Okay, well, now we've come to where I don't know what I'm doing. We gotta cheat. Because I'm a cheater, baby. I don't know why that's not turning the way I want it. Anyways, there we go. Alright, so as long as I'm in D, I'm hoping that that'll hold. It may not. That may pose a problem. Alright, so to avoid that problem, when we put in this next, that action's still a little bit high, but I have a feeling once we play that string and it settles in, it'll drop down 20 thousandths or so. You know, I'm sure some luthier out there is saying, that'll never drop down 20 thousandths on the bend. When it kinks, it'll be done, and we're only going to get the 10 thousandths out of that kink. When I say that, I mean this kink right here. When it finally drops down and kinks fully and I get it into that, to intonate at that low E. See, the last one couldn't even get a full rotation and it started tightening up. This one will be almost two. Cause I don't know what I'm doing, I got no clue. My only clue is you. One of these is bigger than the other. Does this thing have a color chart on it? So, green and black. Green, right? Brass, red, black, excuse me. Then green. You think I might know what I'm doing, but nope. I'm telling you, tried telling you when you got here, I ain't got a clue. I ain't got no clue, yeah. I'm just doing all I can to try to get by, yeah. He's trying to get by, yeah. He's trying to get by, yeah. He's trying to get by. Try to get high will help from my friends. No. Oh, no, sorry. Different. Maybe remember that show? What would you do with that same attitude? Turn, walk out on me. Joe Cocker, I think. Remember that show? What was her name? Winnie Cooper. Oh, what a high ticket she was, that Winnie Cooper. Who remembers Winnie Cooper? I can't even remember the dude. Well, I know the guy's name was Fred Savage, but I can't even remember his character's name. Just go show you. Was that even the right CD show? Am I watching the right thing? Oh, man. You know what's hard? Getting old. Getting old is hard because you forget things. What did I forget? Forget the TV show. That's a small one. That's the Robot Girl. And that's. Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears, and I'll sing you a song. Ha! I'll guarantee to sing it out of key. Okie dokie, moving right along, and we're moving on. Do you have the time to listen to me whine about some guitar strings, purple than silver? I am one of those melodramatic fools Neurotic to the core, no doubt about it. Something like that. Sometimes I am myself a creep. Is this driving you all nuts yet? You don't gotta watch all this. I'm only here stringing a guitar. You could be outside climbing a mountain, climbing a tree, playing on the jungle gym. Going to church. Hanging out with the boys. Chasing the girls. We're almost there. One left. We got one string left. Well, I was trying for the old, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. We gonna do what they say can be done. Anyways, here we are back at the okay corral on the high E. Alright, high E. Let's get that over in its right spot on the nut. Alright, I know that doesn't sound like anything to anybody, but that action looks, it's a little bit high, but it's not unreasonable. The high E string's perfect. The rest of these, I think, gotta get pulled a little tighter so they drop down. Anyways, you're gonna watch me chop these off here. Pow. 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 Bang. Zoom. To the moon. There it is. I'll put the strap on it, tune it up, and see what we got. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get your chance to win this guitar. How are you? Sir Haxalot here. I got some bad news. But it's actually good news. Well, no. I got some bad news and I got some good news. I got some good news and I got some bad news. Well, anyways, it's news. Here's the giveaway guitar. Guess what? It's a piece of shit. But you already knew that. I hadn't a clue yet, but boy, oh boy, I was, sounds nice, but buzz, buzz, buzz. And there's nothing I can do because if I was paying attention, from here to here don't look too bad, but on that side, from there to there, right about here, go whoa, like the ocean. Ha! Like the ocean. So, what did I do? Well, we're not giving this guitar away. I got even better news coming soon. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this one. This is big stuff. Especially for this tiny channel with you 20 subscribers. Stay tuned. I guarantee you by the end of next week, right? By the 7th. By March 7th, you guys are in for a huge treat. And again, we're going to be wrapping this giveaway up on Memorial Day. I'm not sure, but maybe I'll have a little online concert to play all the songs I've been learning. Torture you. Torture. It will be horrible torture for all of you. But here we are on a journey, and, well, as embarrassing and horrible as it may be, you're in it with me. So here we go. Say goodbye to the horrible guitar. I mean, come on. Oh man, this thing is just... So, maybe we'll send it through the wood chipper. You got good ideas? Let me know if you got any good ideas. Clearly, I don't have any good ideas, or else I wouldn't have been doing all that work to this guitar I just did. But here we are. You're just watching an hour of me putting this guitar together, and guess what? Trash! To the trash with it! Well, here we go. Hours. Stay tuned.